there, this is Anna Aspinus from Anna Aspinus Designs, and in this video I want to walk you through some of the neat design features in my new series of templates, which is the Holiday Template Album number 4. This album includes 31 templates to correlate with the 31 days in December and can be used for daily documentation, or you can follow along with my artsy reflection holiday project, which is outlined on the Anna Aspinus Designs blog. These templates are delivered in 6 parts, and each part includes 5 templates, except for the last part, which will include 6 templates, as well as a bonus cover set for photo book printing. Part A became available last week on Wednesday the 12th of November 2014, and then Part B was released into the store today, Wednesday 19th of November 2014. The first 2 parts of this template album series are currently available in the Anna Aspinus Design store, and then the other template sets will be released on a weekly basis until all 6 are available. So you can see in my Photoshop Elements 11 workspace I have 2 of the templates open. I'm working with pages 6 and 7 from Holiday Template Album 4B. Each of the pages are delivered in 12 by 12 inch PSD format, which allows you to access all the layers that make up the page, and I like to work on 2 pages at a time, so I go ahead and create a 24 by 12 inch blank file and then move the layers from each of the templates onto my canvas. And you can see I've already moved the layers from the 6th template onto the left side of my canvas. Now I need to go ahead and move the layers of the right page, which is template number 7. So I'm going to select the first layer in the layers panel, scroll down to the bottom, hold down your shift key on your keyboard, and then click on that background layer, and you can see that all of those layers become highlighted. Next, ensure that you have your Move tool selected from the Tools panel, and then you can drag those layers over and snap them into position, and then this allows me to work on the 2 pages as a double page format, and we can go ahead and close that original template out. So if we look at the various layers that we have that make up these templates, you can see we have some an edge overlay, texture, script tease, etc. The biggest design feature of this particular series of templates is that I have split up the Photo Blends clipping mask layer. So if you look at the layers panel, you can see this particular Photo Blends is delivered in 4 different parts. We've got Photo Blends, an evergreen layer, another evergreen layer, and a stain layer. And previously I have basically merged all of these layers, and what happens when we do that, and what I've done is I've created a copy layer where I've gone ahead and I've selected those 4 layers and I've merged them together. So I'm just going to switch these layers off and switch that layer back on. So we have those layers, but they're all merged together in one layer. And if we open a photo, which I have ready to go, switch on the visibility of that, and then press Ctrl G on my keyboard, you can see that that photo conforms to the entire layer, including the evergreens and the stains. What I've done in this template album, and also this was the same approach that I took for the autumn template album number 1A, I'm just going to move that photo, unclip it. We'll switch that layer off, that merged layer, and we'll switch these individual layers back on. Now if I go ahead and clip that image, drag the image down so that it's above the Photo Blends image, and press Ctrl G on my keyboard, you can see that the photo conforms to the shape of just that Photo Blends layer. And then we can go in and we can actually recolor any of these layers as desired to either coordinate or contrast with our photo. So for example, I'm going to click on my foreground color to activate my color picker, and I'm going to just maybe select, we'll go with maybe this brown or grey. It turns out to be grey, and then go ahead and go to Edit, Fill Layer. Ensure that you have your Preserve Transparency box checked. Ensure that you have the foreground color selected, and then click OK. And you can see that that changes the color of this particular stain up here. Again, we can go down and do the same thing with this evergreen. If, for example, I wanted to change that maybe to a light blue and click OK, we can go to Edit, Fill Layer, ensure your foreground color is selected, ensure that the Preserve Transparency box is checked, and then click OK, and you can see that that changes the color. So it just basically gives you a lot more options in terms of customization. And then of course from here you have a couple of options in terms of applying a blending mode. Perhaps you want to add a color burn, and you can see that changes the effect. It might be a screen. Some obviously are going to work better than others. Another option that you have is to go to Enhance, Adjust Color, Adjust Hue and Saturation, and you can play with these sliders here to increase the hue and the saturation, increase the color, change the color on the fly. And so you can go ahead and do that with any of those layers that make up the photo blends. And then of course if you wanted to create your own photo blends by merging those layers yourself, you have that option as well. And I've taken a similar approach with the photo glow here. What I've done is I've separated it out into both a glow and a magic sparkle, and then this allows you to recolor any of those layers individually. So if I select the glow layer in the layers panel and go up to Enhance, Adjust Color, and then Adjust Hue and Saturation, I can change the hue of that. Around Christmas time it might be blue, or it could be more of a kind of a pinky red. Some people might like green for Christmas, so it just kind of gives you that option of playing with that aspect. And then once you have what you're happy with, you can click OK. You can then go up and add a blending mode. I particularly like hard light or vivid light with these glows. It kind of makes them pop a little bit more. That one's hard light, and then of course vivid light is a little bit more harsh against that image. You can go ahead and adjust the opacity if need be, and just play around as you wish. The other thing you can obviously do is select the magic sparkle part of the photo glow, and you can recolor that. So I'm going to stick with the blue that we selected for that particular evergreen layer, and then I'm going to go to Edit, Fill Layer, ensure you have foreground color selected and the Preserve Transparency box checked, and then click OK, and you can see that that now changes to a blue independently of the glow layer. And then you can go up and perhaps add a color burn layer, and if you want to increase the contrast of that, go up to Enhance, Adjust Lighting, Levels, and then you can play with these sliders to make that stronger or perhaps lighter, depending on which way you want to go. So a number of options here. I'm obviously doing this on the fly, so I may not have chosen a blue color for my evergreen. It really depends on your personal preference and the photos that you're working with, but it gives you a couple of ideas on how to work with those separated layers, and certainly provides you with a little bit more leeway when you're designing your pages. Another couple of suggestions when working with these templates might be to switch out the elements that are included with the pages so that they coordinate better with your photos. I might bring in a blue element here, or you can go ahead and recolor that button layer by clicking on it to select the layer in the Layers panel, then go to Enhance, Adjust Color, go up to your Adjust Hue and Saturation, and then you can change the color of that button simply by moving the hue slider, and you might want to tone it down by moving the saturation, making it more saturated, and then click OK. Your other options might also be to rotate any of these templates and reorganize the layers, especially if you don't intend on getting the full set of 31 templates. There are certainly ways that you can reuse the same templates in order to achieve a similar look and feel to your album. You work with the frame layers in very much the same way that you're going to be working with the photo blends layers, and that you're going to be clipping images, be them photos or artsy papers, to the frame layer of the frames. The frames are delivered in 3D layer format to include the frame layer and then the mask layer and then a drop shadow layer. You can go ahead and change the opacity of that drop shadow depending on your preferred intensity, and then of course you clip the image to the mask layer. So I'm just going to drag this photo layer up to the new layer icon in the layers panel, and what that does is it creates a duplicate copy of that photo, and then if I move that up the layers panel and drop it between the frame and the frame mask layer and then move it across, you can see how that sits nicely. It's quite big right now, so we can resize it by ensuring that you have the move tool selected from the tools panel, ensure that you have the show bounding box checked, and then if you hover over the cursor you get that diagonal double-ended arrow. Click on it, ensure that you have the constrain proportions box checked, and then move those anchors inward so that you can get more of your image within that frame area. And you can also, if you kind of hover over and just pull out slightly, you can see we get this arced double-ended arrow, and what this does is it allows us to rotate an image if we want to, and of course we can pull it out too and just play around with it to get the right crop, as I would call it. And when you're happy with that, you can click the check mark to commit the transformation, and then press Control G on your keyboard. If you're working in Photoshop, you can go ahead and press Control Alt plus G, and it will produce the same effect. And then you can go ahead and repeat with all these other frames, and then you can see how quickly a layout comes together simply by using images and the clipping mask function to create your artsy pages. If you have any questions about these templates or any of the techniques demonstrated in this video, please don't hesitate to contact me at anna_aspinus@yahoo.com. I will be completing my own version of these templates each week and doing a weekly blog post to kind of walk you through my process and some of the tips and tricks that I have in working through my artsy reflection project. And again, if you're interested in learning more about my holiday project 2014, you can find it in the link below this video or at annaAspinusDesigns.com. Thanks for watching, and I will see you back here soon.